Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun.
Okay, well, now that we have the hinge resolved, we can come in and do some cleanup work. And I think what we'll do is just, let's rotate this a little bit. Something about like that. That's nice. It's got a nice knurled surface to grab onto. I think we're going to be good. We've still got to do a little cleanup, like this edge here. File those down a bit, make it pretty again. Okay, in order to get this thing in the center here and to have a little bit of extra room for our movement, we're going to need to take all of these hinges out, all of these hinge segments out. We're going to end up with 2 and 2, which is not bad. It is aluminum, so it's fairly strong. It's going to hold together, no sweat. So I think we just start cutting. Alright, let's give that a try. And just as I suspected, there's going to be some clearance problems right there. But I don't think that's going to be too... I'm thinking just here and here. Okay, maybe a little wider. And we come in at some odd angle. Now, how to attain that odd angle, I just don't know. I'm thinking let's get rid of some of those chips. So there's our almost, this would be pretty much our angle right about there, I'm thinking. I have a couple of wedges from another job. Might be able to slide those in there. And get ourselves positioned. I mean, it's not going to take much to cut. Let's get this thing out of the way for the moment. Oops, we've got the hinge part in the way. Let's see if it can work from here. Looks like one is just slightly off. See if we can just get a little wedge in there. Oh. And snug that down. I don't know. Looks reasonable. For way out there on the edge, as usual. And as I said, it's going to be a very fine cut. Let's get this thing. But it's in there good and strong. I'm thinking that's all it's gonna take. All right. Whoops, you saw that? Good and strong, except it's not strong that way. All right, so let's get it back down here. Come on. That looks good. Just really tighten up on it. All right, let's just give it a try, and we'll just be very gentle and see what happens. Well, it's a good start. Just no way to hold it. So I'm thinking maybe our other way is with the adjustable vise. And how would we do that? Let's swing down and see what we got. So we'd want to be something like that. That's going to hold it a lot better, of course. I was just hoping that it was going to be easy. No such luck. But I think this is going to answer the question. Yeah, that's not going to be too bad. So we'll set this up. Okay, so I think we're set up here. We've got a little bit of angle going, and this is all just kind of winging it sort of stuff. Come in at about that depth. Wondering if this light is going to help a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. Well, I know you can't see much. Bring this back up. Okay, let's give that a try. All right, we're going to take that out and give it a try. Well, we got a good groove going, except that it's hitting right at the top edge. So we need to kind of take a little bit of that out, which means more angle. So let's get some more angle in on this. Something like that, maybe. Okay. I'll go a little bit at a time. Okay, that's pretty close. Just that one little bit. I'd say that's pretty good right there. I like it. You can, there's room to grab it and hang on. Okay, so we're there. Now to the next step. Okay, I'm just going to take 2 segments out instead of the 4 that I was planning on. We're going to take this very little baby steps. Make sure that we, you know, we're right down to the finish line. No point in wasting the thing out just because we're in a hurry. All right, we got her tight, yes. All right, let's see how much room we have left. Well, hardly any. I'm thinking it's right down where it needs to be. So now we could just come in and trim it with the tool from this angle and just kind of take it in as much as we can get it. And maybe it'll take it all. Alright, we went just a little bit deep, but that's okay. We can trim that out later. Yeah, a couple thousandths. Yeah, a little bit deep. Oh well, it's not going to show. I'm thinking just knock that edge off just a little bit. Maybe a file will do it. Okay, so let's see what we've got. We've got this goes there. Nope. Where's this go? Here. There it is. That goes there. This goes in the middle. We're going to put our pins in just temporarily. Okay. What's holding us back? There we go. Okay. Still closing up all the way, which is good. And we open that and close it, and that's what we want. That's the action we want. Okay, so I guess it's time. So what we want to do is we want to bring this in until it's all the way down solid. And then I'm thinking just come in with a little razor blade and score a line on that. And of course this isn't totally solid. Let me get that down a little bit more. Well, that might be as solid as it gets. Okay. So now we come in and we just score a little line on our piece of material here. Now bring it back out. Of course, that's easier said than done. Put it in the vise. There we go. Alright, so that comes back out. We look for our little score, and I'm seeing about 8 of them, so let's get some Dykem on that. We could probably just do a little ink. Okay, that slid in nicely. Now we'll score a line. Okay. I don't know. Gonna have to get my cheater glasses for this one. Man, I think maybe this ink is not gonna work. We're gonna get the Dykem out. Alright, that ought to do the trick. Let's let that dry a little bit. We'll be Alright, there's our line right there. Now what we want to do is we want to go beyond that line, because there is a hole here that is going to screw into that. Yep. I'm wondering. It might be better just to leave the shaft just like it is. Of course, that means making a new shaft, but at the same time, it'd be stronger, definitely stronger, and all we have to do is bore this hole out just a little bit. I'm thinking that might be the answer. I mean, look, the difference is what, 20 thousandths? Maybe not even that much. Okay, there's our diameter. 10, 20, 40 thousandths. I'm not seeing any reason why we can't just drill this out. Yeah, I think that's the only way, really, you know, because by the time we get a hole in that and mess around thread something in there, that makes it really weak right there. And sure as hell I wouldn't want them to be torquing on this and all of a sudden have it break. So we're going to start back in once more. I don't know how many of these we've made. Oh, maybe 6 or 8. So we're going to do it again. All right. We'll be back. Okay, we've got this thing assembled. Now I don't have the locks in place yet, so I'm going to use a wrench just to hang on to them. Oops, let me back it up a little bit. There we go. So let me get this so you can see it. There we go. Now we take the arm and we swing it back until it locks, which is about right there. The problem is that it holds, but you can still bend it. And so what I did is I thought, okay, maybe we need just a little bit more leverage out here. And so I put a socket on it, and we're going to bend it out just a little further. But it takes a bit of pressure. And now it locks pretty well. I mean, I can still bend it, but I have to really work at it. I mean, not bend it, but torque it. Okay, so now that's about as tight as we can get. But it still works. So, what we have to do from this point is take this arm off, put an extended arm on that's going to come out to about right there, and that's where I kind of see it, and then that'll give us a little bit more leverage and be able to kind of lock it. But it's not like, you know, you can just do it with your thumb real easily. And if I go with finer threads down here, I mean, we could certainly try that, but, you know, I mean, hours and hours later. But it's not impossible to do. We could go with finer threads, but I'm thinking that finer threads means that this thing has to swing back further in order to get it to lock. And that could work out, but at the same time, as I said, we're probably talking about another 4 or 5 hours just to rebuild this arm and the internal threads and the external threads. Well, you know how it is. You get to this point and you go, oh man, I'm done. All I got to do is do a little bit of cleanup and we're all set. And then of course reality kicks in and you realize you're not done. Now what's happened here is we've got the hinge and we've got the lock that we want. Hang on. Let me get this thing set up. So there's the lock. It's you know, I'm not going to push hard on it, but that's locked, and they wanted it to be able to lock at 90 degrees. Of course, that's not 90, but we'll work that out later. But what happens is as soon as you break the lock, it changes. Well, now that didn't change. It changes its tension. Well, in fact, look at that. It's closer. Now each time I move it around, it gets closer and closer until there's no room left. So I think what we need to do is, and you know, and I've been thinking about it for 24 hours now, maybe even for days, is I need to take the shaft. Let's take one of these out. I'm going to make myself a little dog point Allen set screw, and I'm going to run it in right into that hinge segment all the way into the center. And with the dog point on the end, then I'm going to take and make a slot in the shaft so that the dog point can fit in the slot, and that'll hold it in place. It's pretty complicated, but I think we're going to be able to pull it off. So we're going to go over to the mill and drill our hole and set up our let's take this off. Drill our 2 holes and set up the thread them, and then go in and get everything all perfect where we want it as far as the shaft, or as far as the pivot is concerned, and then go in with a drill or with something and mark that center point, and then bring it out, and we'll have a mark on the shaft, and then we're going to cut a slot in that mark. So there's the problem. There's possibly the answer. We don't know yet. But let's go over to the mill and get started. Alright, well, as far as I can tell, and all I can do is eyeball it because the hole is down in there somewhere, and so I think we're within a few thousandths. Oh, I think we better go a little faster than that. We're gonna drill a hole through there and then thread it, and then come back and check and see where we're at. And somehow my bottle of Tap Magic has disappeared. So we're just gonna get some oil in here. It doesn't work as good, but it will lubricate the drill bit, and